Hello everyone, and welcome back to Discworld. This is Starman, and we are standing on the Street of Alchemists, as you can tell by those explosions in the background. Now, there are a couple of things we can do once we're here, but I think we need to get a higher view of things. Wait for it. Well, that's one way to get up in the world. But yes, now we are upon the rooftops of Ankh-Morpork, where the only people who get to see this view are the birds, the stars, and the chimney sweeps.
A git with a broom.
Well, that's not very nice. But let's talk to that git with a broom.
For what?
Oh, for whatever innocent folk like we can find to do up here on the rooftops.
Have you ever fallen down?
Oh, yes. Tons of times.
Well, if you don't want a repeat performance, try shutting up.
The day is coming when people like you will have to look up to folk like me.
Probably easiest from the ground, then.
What?
Looking up at you, I mean. Probably easiest when done from the ground. Actually, I think I might just get in as little looking up at you right now, in fact. Or just go down to street level in a quiet, orderly fashion, then, shall I?
That's the second figure who has complained about us looking down upon him and treating him rudely and how things will soon be different. I wonder if that is foreshadowing something.
Let's keep track.
Yes, because you always need a ladder in games like this. In fact, I think I shall take it. Oh, dropped it, but thankfully my trusty luggage is there to catch it. Let's see, is there any place around here where there is an obvious... Well, that window looks suspicious.
Exit stage left.
Actually, stage left would be the other way. I think. You'd think being a theater mage I'd remember this, but I can never keep that straight. Whether stage left is facing out toward the audience or facing from the audience. Actually, it's facing toward the audience.
Ouch!
What, no Wilhelm scream? Aha! The assassin at work. Shouldn't he be wearing a hooded robe, though? Whoops. Well, thankfully there are no Templars upon the Discworld to catch him after this.
From the Assassin's Guild, I presume.
Did you get the number of that donkey cart?
Yes, this running gag, which I promise will have some deeper meaning eventually. Yeah, let's check our inventory.
I suppose the deluxe model is the rungs held on with a better grade of string.
Yes, not the best of ladders there, but it will suit our purposes. And speaking of purposes, as long as we're here, I think we're going to go ahead and go after one of the first items that we need for the dragon detector that we're supposed to be looking for instead of wandering around the city talking to every random person that we are. Because I'm thinking, oh, why not? I could come back and do this later, but we're here, we have everything. Let's get this done. Because this part I remember how to do quite well. Because you're about to have a near-death experience. Or from Death's perspective, a Near-Rincewind experience, which happens quite often. But we can actually go to this tower in the distance here. See a tiny little red dot that's Rincewind there.
Yes, a good example of post-dynastic October rock. Oh dear, I think I'm going to be rather ill.
And, well, from here we can see that that is not a mysterious shape, but in fact, a dragon. Whoop.
A bit slippery, is it?
It's fine, I assure you.
Maybe you'd better just spit on your hands.
That's going to make it even slippier, isn't it?
It might be worth a try.
But then I'll slip and die.
Is that really so bad? Philosophically speaking.
It is from where I stand, yes.
Death does have its positive aspects, you know. It's easy to do lying down. Also, have you ever considered saving on food, rent, and clothing?
Are you saying that this is my appointed time to die?
Well, since you put it like that, no. But I thought, there he is. And I'm happening to be passing, you know. It's a kind of outreach policy.
If it's all the same, I'd rather wait.
Oh, if you insist. I'll see you later.
How much later?
Don't start reading any long books.
I do wish that creature wouldn't keep looking over this way and licking its chops.
Yeah, a bit of an explanation might be required here. Upon the Discworld, there is a death, actually. In fact, every world has its own version of death, but the death of the Discworld, owing to a series of rules which are never fully explained, he does hand off the duties of claiming the souls of every creature that dies off to various underlings, but he is required to show up in person for kings and important historical deaths and, oddly enough, the deaths of wizards. And even though Rincewind is not much of a wizard, he does have enough innate magic ability to be able to sense magical fields, currents, and he can also see the presence of death. And it's a running gag in the first couple of books that Rincewind continually keeps running into death and running away from death, to the point where death just keeps showing up saying, okay, look, you're about due to die any time. And later on in the series, we find out that Rincewind has probably the most interesting lifetimer, for death does have a little timepiece for every person who's about to die in his own realm. And Rincewind's is not shaped like a traditional hourglass. In fact, it looks like a piece of glass sculpture that was made by somebody over the course of 20 days who has a severe case of hiccups the whole time. So technically the sand has run out, but bits of it are stuck in various curves. So Rincewind is effectively immortal for a couple of reasons, which number one will be coming up later in the game. But we can get into that later. For now, we have a dragon over there. One of the items that we need for our dragon detector is dragon's breath. Now, how do we get a sample of dragon's breath, you ask? Well, you have to keep in mind that dragons, while being dangerous magical creatures, they basically have the same instincts as a magpie. And what do magpies like? Shiny things. And dragons also very vain. So what do we do to get a dragon's attention? We take a nice shiny mirror, hang it where we can manipulate it somewhat more easily. Must save our hat. We can't be a wizard without a proper hat. And start using that mirror to try and get the dragon's attention. Oh, and...
Oh! It's got a knob on the end.
well, it's not a staff, but it'll do. A wizard's staff has a knob on the end, and what he does with it is magic. Shiny. Shiny. Look at the shiny. Look at the shiny dragon.
Ooh, magnificent. Now get out there and slay them.
It turns out this tower is directly above red sorghum and the urchin. Starfish. Now, how the heck Rincewind didn't get burned by that at close range, I have no idea, other than Death's doing him a solid. And speaking of solid, let's get back down to solid ground. Very slowly creep back. And here we are again. Thankfully, this time we know the way down.
Assassin
Oh,
training
sign.
track. Well, I suppose they have to be taught somewhere.
Yeah, actually, if you want to read about the assassins of Discworld, there's a... Check out Pyramids. It's the 7th book in the series, if I remember correctly. And they get into a fair bit of how the assassins have training courses scattered all over the rooftops of the city. I can't guarantee that they informed the Assassin's Creed games based on this, but it is rather amusing to read about the training aspects of it. Okay, well that is all we need from the rooftops this time around. But we will be needing to go up there at later points. So let's just keep going past the paving stone that explodes and check out this office right here.
It's the door to the alchemist's shop. Well, I never.
You should. It's fun.
Thomas Silverfish, alchemist extraordinaire.
Now this is a bit of a nod to another Discworld book, Moving Pictures, which also inspired quite a bit of the plot of this game. Without, as you might guess from the title, it has to do with moving pictures being introduced to the Discworld. Because Discworld is a mirror of our world, but with things that are technological being replaced with magic. So the Discworld does have cameras, but the cameras are little boxes with a demon inside them that paint the picture. And in Moving Pictures, Thomas Silverfish here is the alchemist who devises a means of creating film, which is powered by a bunch of little imps in a box painting the pictures very quickly.
What's in here then? Looks like cooking oil.
Cooking oil. Wonder what else he might be making
Looks like
in there.
a little home for a very little creature.
And speaking of which, here's a
cable
camera.
Release. I wonder what it releases. Maybe it's a little home.
Let's push the cable release.
Maybe it's a little home.
Yeah, maybe it is. Well, I was hoping that we could get him out of there, but at the very least we know
There
there's a
are
little
some
creature
things
in there.
best left unknown.
Funny, I love how he's not saying anything about us being here.
That looks a bit hot. Someone should do something about that.
Just looking at all this random stuff.
Funny little
And there's
lighter.
Imp.
Leave the imp alone.
Okay, he objects to me touching his imp. Well, who can blame him? That's a
By
bit
the cut of
personal.
his jib, I'd say the man's an alchemist. Well, either that or a professional jib cutter.
He can't be an alchemist, he has eyebrows.
Eureka! I found it. Finally, it works. My octocellulose has been perfected.
What works?
Nothing. Nothing works at all.
Oh, go on, you were saying something right now.
No, I wasn't.
It was all about octo something.
Shh. Not so loud. All right. But wizard's oath on this. You have to swear to keep all this a secret.
Oh, all right.
Well,
Well, what?
let's hear it then.
It's a secret oath.
I promise I won't listen.
No, that's no good. Tell you what, I'll have to say it in mime. Tell you what, I'll have to say it in mime.
Well, you can't say fairer than that. Anyway, here before you, you see a new age in entertainment. With my new octocellulose, I'll revolutionize the world. My octocellulose has been perfected.
Eh?
My fortune is made. Moving pictures will soon be the talk of the age.
You've been standing too close to the boiling mercury again, haven't you?
Every true genius has his vice. It helps us to get ahead.
Putting your head in a vice is the best idea you've had all day. Moving pictures, how does it work?
Well, the strips of octocellulose are transparent. When you paint on them and shine light through from behind, it projects a picture onto a wall. You just run the strip through a box filled with gears and springs.
It's a bit noisy.
The clicking noise is all part of the atmosphere.
What paints the pictures?
There's an imp inside this box. All I do is open up the window, and the imp makes the pictures. Paints the frames as fast as I can wind the strips past him.
An imp, eh? Anyway, what are you going to call this new system?
Nah, I'm not sure.
Well, it's easy enough. What is their most unique characteristic?
They're moving pictures that click.
Well, there you go. Call them that.
Of course. Clickies. Thank you.
Clickies?
Close enough. Anyway, we shall leave Mr. Silverfish for the moment and go to explore other climes. Because we still have a fair bit of the city to look at. And it looks like the assassin walked away. That's good. I don't think we can run away to the shades just yet. But we can go. And I believe the dragon is on the move. We'll go over here before he starts screaming. Now here are a few more characters from the Discworld books that you fans might remember. We've got one guard, another guard, and a guard up in the tower. In this case, we have a rather sleepy sergeant, a short, rather simian-looking corporal, and the big, burly, strong as an ox newbie. In this case, the characters are Sergeant Colin, who unfortunately we don't get to speak to, Corporal Nobbs, and at this moment he is Lance Constable Carrot, who eventually becomes a captain and quite an awesome character. Well, awesome in the traditional sense. Nobby I like for sheer cynicism and comedy value, and he is very well voiced here by Tony Robbins, who, well, Baldric and Nobby are probably second cousins, twice removed through the veil of reality.
Ah, you'll be the mandatory pink idiot youth with sword, then. Obviously the commander of the guards. Always good to know the guards are being kept nice and safe. Oh dear. You know, that's possibly the closest I've ever seen anything come to being a human without actually being one.
Oh, let's talk to Nobby first.
Now, Nobby, do I book him now?
What for?
Loitering with intent. Paragraph 7, subsection 3. Lurking, loitering, and vending without due course.
Oh, Carrot, give it a rest. Take a walk.
Who are you people, anyway?
We're the city guard, mister.
What, all two of you?
3 of us. There's me and the sergeant, who's a bit under the weather, as account of making an arrest of a large quantity of lager. Then there's the kid, Carrot. The boy's going to be a full member soon.
Marvellous.
We're on patrol. There's been a few thefts around here lately. Strange things going missing. Little knickknacks all over town. Almost as if someone's been swallowing them. You don't know anything about it, do you?
What? Oh, goodness me, I never heard of any such thing in all my life.
Well, we thought we might patrol our way over to the Broken Drum. Then we might patrol our way over to the inn. Then there's a few wine cellars whose doors definitely need checking.
I see.
So, what are you up to then?
Not taking a bunch of random small items that aren't nailed down, certainly.
Oh, nothing.
See, Nobby, loitering. That's loitering.
Of course it isn't. Just because I'm not doing anything important doesn't mean I'm loitering.
Well, it's as close as maybe.
Well, the law has to be specific. What actually is loitering?
Oh, well, once upon a time, there was all sorts of laws, of course. Yes, such as, intent to go into a pub and have a drink, intent to strip stark naked and wave at passers-by, intent to go into a pub and have really big drinks, intent to pass by the guard without giving them a smoke. You haven't got a spare on you by any chance?
No, sorry, I don't.
No loss, no loss.
Well, look, I wasn't planning on doing any of those things.
Well, how are we to know that?
But I was just standing there. What's the difference between loitering and minding your own business?
Fair question.
Ah, well, your inveterate loiterer sort of sidles his way along the pavement, kind of moving without even twitching a muscle.
Yes, I know. Yeah, gotta watch for them invertebrates. Some criminals just have no backbone.
Had to struggle a bit for that one, didn't you?
Just a bit.
What does a city guard do?
Not a lot. Not much call for us nowadays. Thievery is permitted as long as it meets guild quotas.
So how big is the city guard?
Well, it must be,
Yes, easily.
fully...
What?
Well, there's 3 of us.
But you said the kid is new.
He just wandered in out of the wilds one day. Almost heroic like it was. He's the first volunteer we've had in decades. He's having a little bit of trouble fitting in, though. He's a bit literal-minded, you see, on account of the fact that he's a dwarf.
A dwarf? He's 7 foot tall if he's an inch.
He's the tallest dwarf in the world.
I lied about my height, see?
You're a very good liar.
He's a good loomer, too. He can really loom, Carrot can. Never known anyone for looming like Carrot.
A tall dwarf.
That's all right. He's growing out of it.
Yeah, a bit of a joke there, and you can read the full story in Guard's Guard, so I won't spoil the full joke of it. But Carrot was adopted. No joke, right? But he was in a bit of denial about that fact. He was just found in the woods by a group of dwarves who raised him as their own until he got to the height where, well, he could no longer fit in a 5-foot-high mine. So they sent him off to the city and told him that being a watchman was a good, respectable job, not knowing that Ankh-Morpork had eliminated the need for watchmen. And Carrot learns a little bit about growing up and being a man and becoming an actual honest-to-goodness policeman as the story of Guards progresses. But again, I don't want to spoil too much of that. Let's see, did I do the joke line?
What does a city guard
Yeah, okay, we did
Not
that
a
one
lot.
already.
So how big?
Well,
Yeah.
What? But you said
he just he's having he's a bit...
a dwarf.
He's the...
I lied.
You're a very
He's a good look.
a tall.
That's all right.
Just
What does
got
a
it
city
second
Not a lot.
time there.
Yeah.
What? But you said
He's he's a bit...
a dwarf.
He's the...
I lied.
You're a very
He's a good...
a tall.
Ah.
Sorry.
What does a city guard?
I
Not a
thought
lot.
that moving
So
the
how big-
cursor
Yeah.
would keep me from having
But you
this
said that
happen
you
Just
here,
wondered,
so
he's having a little
very
bit...
careful.
A dwarf.
He's
very
I
carefully
lied about my...
You're very good.
He's a good...
A tall dwarf.
That's
got
all
out of
right.
that loop.
Look, I'm not going to stay here. I've had a very trying day.
Exciting? Full of action?
What? Yes, I suppose so.
Well, that's disturbing the peace then. Okay, these are your rights. You have the right to remain silent. You have the right not to remain silent, but to say, please do not do that again. You have the right to say, yes, all right, it was me what done it. No, not the fingers.
Carrot? No.
What?
No, Carrot. We are not going to arrest him.
But not me, he just admitted.
But we're turning a
Yeah,
blind
Carrot
ear.
became rather anxious about arresting people, which wouldn't have been that bad, except for the fact that day one he tried arresting the head of the Thieves Guild for being a thief, and then when being reprimanded for this by the patrician, he tried to arrest the patrician for double parking his carriage.
Well, I'll just move along then, shall I? Fine.
And it does not look like there's anything else I can grab or pick up here. So we shall move on to commit our petty acts of heroism elsewhere. Let's go check out the street. Okay, we have actually quite a few merchants along the street, so let's start with the toy store.
Why have all the teddy bears in the window got
That's
fangs?
not a good sign.
Ah, prime knickknacks. Purple piñatas. Now there's something you don't see every day. A purple stuffed donkey kind of thing, I mean. Dragon's breath? Look.
Yep, we do indeed have Dragon's Breath now. And a purple donkey pinata. Which I'm sure will absolutely be useful and needed at some point. Let's see.
Ah, looks like a prime paste blanc extraordinaire to me. Good body, but a bit fruity for my taste. Actually, I think this might technically be a ball of twine. All right, it's a small difference in nomenclature, but it might be important.
Yes,
to
but I
somebody
better take
someday.
it. Because you always need an unreasonable amount of string or twine in an adventure game. And this kindly toy maker does not mind me taking his stuff.
What an extraordinary person.
Very jolly looking man. Let us speak to the jolly man.
Greetings, shopkeeper.
Good day, sir. Can I interest you in our toys? There's today's special.
an amusing line of bells and whistles. Or there's Violent Bob, the doll with a face you can rip clean off.
Eh?
It's very therapeutic.
I'm sure.
The sort of thing you can share with your brothers. Brothers of evil, walking arm in arm across the rooftops of the world.
Are you all right?
Pardon? Oh, yes, yes. Never felt better. So, can I help you at all, sir? Anything special catch your eye?
Oh, just browsing.
Browsing?
Yes.
Not plotting?
Definitely not.
Not secretly planning the overthrow of the patrician and the total dominance of the city?
No, not at all.
Oh, damn. Right you are, sir. Browse away.
That does not seem at all suspicious. I shall go upon my merry way and leave you to your not plotting.
And verily shall he bellow forth the 10 sacred names of the Forbidden Dawn. I tell a lie, the 9 sacred names of the Forbidden Dawn. Then shall he stride forth, and many shall be the number of his stridings.
It's a monk of the dreaded crocodile god Offla. I wonder if he wants to be friends.
Full across
Let
the
us see
disk
if he wants
shall
to be friends.
Stride, and those who gaze upon him shall say, Look, it is Offla, and he strideth.
Hello.
Go away. I am a monk of the Temple of Offla.
Temple of Offal?
Offla. I am guardian of the sacred eye, Lord High Vicar of the other not-so-sacred eye, and Grand Trilobite of the Cenopod.
You must be taller than you look.
Silence! Begone, or else feel the wrath of the mighty Offla and the toe-biting knights of the holy emasculation!
Hello.
Go away.
Temple
Ah,
of
well, I
Offal.
thought maybe he might say
You must be taller
something
than you look.
different.
Begone, or else...
But as I have no desire to be emasculated,
Ignatius the Troll's all-night
have to come back here at night
and
then.
verily shall he bellow forth the 10 sacred names of the
Oh,
Forbidden
bugger
Dawn.
off.
I tell a lie, the 9 sacred names of the Forbidden Dawn.
Cute if you like that sort of thing.
He has no trouble with me taking his picture.
A fine little octopus, that. Ah, a nice sturdy picture frame.
Could use one or the other. Hey, caviar.
Look at the size of it. Must be Clatchin sturgeon roe. That doesn't work.
Okay, I can't take the caviar.
Well, if times ever get hard, at least he can masquerade as one of the stock. That's a rather unusual fish. Is this fish fresh?
Fresh, fresh. One of them just made a pass at me wife, sir.
Good heavens, did it really?
I don't mind, sir. I think fish are quite attractive, don't you? I love my wife, but oh, you octopus.
Ew.
You're a silly man, and I don't think I shall speak with you. What's that under your arm?
What's what?
That fish, that enormous swordfish.
It's a swordfish, sir.
I can see that.
Nothing wrong with your eyesight, is there, sir? Wizards are fine people, no matter what everyone else says.
Don't be impertinent. You're skating on thin ice.
Skates are over there, sir. All in a row.
In a row?
No, all in a row, as in fish eggs. It's delicious. You should try some caviar.
I would, but it won't let me click on it.
Don't get horribly burned to death by any monsters or anything.
Ah. Well, now we see the level of which
Good
this game has...
grief. What in Offla's name is that dreadful smell?
It's probably you.
No, I'm not going to look into there. There are some things best left unknown.
Look, I'm the player, you're the protagonist. I outrank you. If I want you to look at the smelly can, you will look at the smelly can.
No, I'm not going to look into there. There are some things best left unknown.
Fine.
I don't care what the user manual says. I'm not doing it. Toilet. Purpose built? What's the world coming to?
Alright, fine. Ooh, fish crates.
Oh, please let this not be where he normally keeps his stock. That doesn't work.
Okay, nothing I can do with the fish crates. Ah, a beggar.
Nice job, lad, sitting down all day.
Always good for info, a beggar?
Alms, sir. Alms for the poor.
But I'm already poor.
Well, you've got a pointy hat.
That's not wealth, that's status.
Oh, well, spare some status for the poor, Governor.
I think you've got that wrong.
How do you mean wrong? It's a simple request transaction. I underline a need and hope that you, in your wisdom, will provide.
Some sinking issues, it looks like.
It's not a question of that, it's a question of practicality. Status, by its very nature, is ineffable. As a quality, it is essentially non-transferable.
So are you going to give me status or aren't you?
I can't just give you status, you have to earn it.
For instance?
Yep, definitely some sync issues with the dialogue.
Reach the top of your profession. Become the most famous beggar in the city. Get some real diseases.
Well, I'll try. Business is just down a bit. What can I do about it?
You need a more dominating image. Something to demand sympathy. Otherwise, heartless people like me are just going to keep on passing you by.
It's a thought, you know. Yes. Many thanks.
Arms? No, thanks. I'm trying to give them up.
Ba-dum-tsh.
Why should I give you money?
Well, it's your traditional medieval street transaction, isn't it, Gov? It's an expected part of your fantasy environment.
You're saying that you're just here to add a little bit of colour?
Authenticity, Gov. Authenticity.
Well, wouldn't it be better if you actually looked the part? I mean, just look at you.
Why? What do you mean? What's wrong with it?
Well, it's pathetic. I mean, a beggar, by definition, has to be pitiable, doesn't he? I mean, why should someone give him money if he's as hale and hearty as any other geezer on the street?
Oh yeah. I think I see what you mean, sir.
Right, well, carry on. What? Me pay you?
Oh, go on.
Why?
Why what?
Why should I give you money when you're no worse off than anybody else?
Well, business is bad, but what can I do about it?
Have you thought about improving your image?
Improve my image? How?
Well, make yourself more presentable. Show some self-respect.
What? Spend money on clothes and stuff?
Yeah, that's it.
All right. Give us 30 shillings until payday then.
But you're a beggar. You don't get paid.
My point exactly.
Enough of this.
Right, you are then. Ah, now this will be the barber's shop.
Hey, I don't see Cedric the Entertainer anywhere in here.
Diploma from the Academy of Barbering, Bloodletting, Leechery, Tooth-Pulling and Associated Self-Mutilations Academy. Well, at least I suppose it's a hair roller. I wonder why she smells of brimstone. Extractors, drills, needles. Look, let's not go into this too deeply, okay?
Barber and pocket.
I think the medical and hair care professions still have a long way to go. My, what deep pockets he has.
Rincewind, do you routinely examine other men's pockets? Well, this lady looks interesting. Let us speak to her.
Is that a curler in your hair?
Impudent wretch, of course it is.
Just asking. So it's definitely a roller then?
What?
In your hair. A hair roller.
Well, of course it is. If it wasn't a roller, then why would it be there?
You wouldn't,
Wouldn't what?
you wouldn't say it's a bit, unusual at all?
Good heavens, no.
Right, you are then. Oh, so you're having your hair set in a traditional style?
Traditional?
With rollers and curls? Oh, yes, it should look very quaint.
Quaint?
Well, a busy woman like yourself can't always be expected to keep up with the new trends.
What? Don't be absurd. Barber, I shall have my hair set straight.
A very wise choice, madam. I have absolutely no desire to talk to that person at this time.
Yes, and we do not actually get an introduction to her at this time, but this is, in fact, the Lady Ramkin, who is very important to the plot of Guards Guards and will become somewhat more important to us later. But for now, let's just talk to the hairdresser.
Hello there.
Oh, hello.
I suppose it's quite a sensuous sort of job then, playing with women's hair all day.
Oh, not really. Not with the type of women we get in here. No silken locks, no golden magic drifting beneath my scissors. Nothing like my wondrous little milkmaid.
And while he's thinking about her, that is the perfect opportunity for us to... And you'll note that he appears to be thinking of the milkmaid that we ran into earlier at the psychiatrist shop.
I've never seen a metal hair roller before.
And with that, we have actually gotten the second item we need for our dragon detector, a coil of never-ending such and such. But let's talk to the barber again anyway.
You're the local dentist too?
The one and only. Any tooth pulling you need, just pop in.
But are you qualified?
I'm self-taught. Hey, that's a pretty ripe-looking molar you got there, by the way. Ooh, I'd love to get me pliers on that little beauty.
Eve, look, just put those pliers down and we'll talk. How's the milkmaid?
Oh, yes. Oh, so perfect, so smooth, so chaste. Oh, I know she'd never spare a mere barber a glance, but a man can hope, can't he?
Yes. Still fails to create that relaxing atmosphere, though.
Well, I think we've done as much damage as we can do here.
Let's just keep this handy, shall we?
And where there should be an arrow or something to let me get out of here. How do I get out?
Our first customer. I wonder if he was the last.
Ah. There we go. Okay. This one replace the livery stable.
Oswald's Ostlery. Whatever your Oswald, we'll provide for it best.
One that's any relation to Clara Oswald.
I say, this poor beast looks under the weather.
Under the weather, he looks drunk. Hey, corn! Look, there's not enough corn in this game already.
Quadro triticale, I presume.
That gives me an idea.
Quite a trim little cart, that.
Remember at the alchemist office where we saw all of that boiling oil? I think perhaps if we can find that alleyway again. Yeah, the navigation here is a little annoying at times, especially when you're playing in a small DOS-box window. Yeah, let's avoid that. Because we have Mr. Silverfish getting ready to make his moving pictures.
The world just swims with possibilities.
Okay, it won't let me take
That
his
doesn't
bellows, but it
work.
will let me take the corn and do this, because what is a movie without popcorn? Sneaky, sneaky Rincewind. And now, while he's distracted, we could grab the imp, except the imp has made a cunning getaway into that mouse hole. But thankfully, I think we have just what we need to fish him out of there. And I mean that literally, because, well, We've got a nice worm for bait. We've got some string for a fishing line. Ah, I already tied it on there. So now I have...
That doesn't... It's a worm with a string tied to its tail.
Urban fishing. And boom, we now have a creature who makes excitable chitters. And he keeps making the occasional face at me. So I believe that gets us almost everything we need for the dragon detector except for one item. And I know just where to get it. That would be the ferrous container, if I remember correctly. And I think now we can go back to the university in safety. Hi, Ponder. How's it going? Oh, come on. That should totally work.
That doesn't work.
It doesn't matter because we're going around this way. Because you remember this high window? Yes, we need a ladder to get to it. But thankfully, now we have one. Ah, and now I can see the pancakes. Unfortunately, Rincewind is not quite dexterous enough to catch that pancake by himself. So we're going to have to exit back out for a second. I put this back in here, but I'm going to give myself...
That doesn't work.
Oh, you totally belong in a net. Give myself the butterfly net. Take this. Now remember how the chef said that if one more weird thing happened, he was going to go to the Arch-Chancellor and quit? Well, wait for it. I want pancakes now.
Reversing gravity is the last straw. I've had it. I'm off to complain. Spells, wizards, anti-gravity. It's unnatural, that's what it is. So who pays for it, I say? Me, that's who. Up the stairs to complain, then back down to the kitchen. Up and down, like what kids play with on a string.
A kite?
What? Yes, that's the one. Up and down these stairs like
Yeah,
a
there's
kite.
one of the few instances of a weird random voice suddenly being substituted for a line that Eric Idle couldn't do when he was recording. So, now that there is nobody guarding the kitchen, we can run around to the side and start taking everything in the kitchen that is not nailed down. And as long as we're here, we'll grab more bananas. Because you never know, we might need a favor from the librarian again.
I already have one of
But
those.
you can always have more Rincewind. You can never have enough bananas. But the only other thing we need to grab at the moment is this frying pan. Which is, of course...
Flat, heavy, metallic, and sheathed in those really hard-to-get-at grease stains.
Now that should give us all of the items we need for our dragon detector. So let us go up to the Arch-Chancellor's office and get our reward. Which is probably going to be a swift kick in the rump and a promise to have our scholarship cut. But we shall see. Let's start with frying pan.
That's good, but off with you. There's still more work to be done.
The chittering creature.
That's good, but off with you.
The coil.
That's good, but off.
And the dragon's breath.
That's good, but off with you. There's still more
but wait,
work
there
to be
was
done.
one more thing we needed, a magic staff. Where on earth are we going to find a magic staff? I mean, it's not like we're in a university full of wizards who have magic staffs. Oh, wait, yes we are. But the only one who actually saw carrying one was old Wendell. However, are we going to get that staff away from him? Well, taking it outright won't work. Even though it didn't play any sound effects as we were made to dance. Well, I can't pickpocket it, but maybe, if I'm clever, and I am. Haha!
Here, it's got a knob on the end.
Oh, not all staves have knobs on the end, but, well, this one does. And that should take care of us. Come here, luggage. And now, magic wand, staff, thingy.
Excellent. Well done, that man. Now that you've finished all the tedious work, all we need is a truly heroic wizard to actually trace the lair and take all of the glory.
And I think we know who wants the golden glory.
All right, Breakwind, you may go and try to do something useful around here. No more big dinners for slackers.
Right, well, I'll just slink off down this corridor, shall I?
Yes, good day, Rincewater.
And you'll handle the gold. I mean, the dragon. You'll just take care of everything.
Yes, quite right.
Perhaps I should volunteer to assist, sir, having had hands-on experience in your actual dragon locating equipment.
Don't be ridiculous, man. We need someone of character and virility, of strength and guile. Someone, in short, who is not you.
What has 100 eyes, drinks blood, and is bright purple?
Good grief, boy. How should I know?
Well, there's one right behind you, sir. I hope that's not a valuable rug.
Yoink! Okay, so now comes the tricky part. Us having created what is basically a magical metal detector. Makes sense because, well, dragons do love hoarding themselves some gold. And the speed does seem to be picking up as we move over here, but I want to go to the palace real quick. Actually, no, I'm not, because it won't let me go to the palace. Pay dirt!
Rich! I'm rich! I'm fabulously wealthy!
I'm a coward, but I'm a greedy little coward.
It's all mine, and no big, ugly lizard is going to stop me.
Ahem.
Whoa.
However, when I say ugly, I don't, of course, mean lacking in considerable wit, charm, charisma, attractiveness, teeth, claws.
Hush.
Yes, sir. I'm shutting up now, sir.
I am angered, little man. I am angered and I am sorrowful. An evil brotherhood has pulled me from my ancient place of rest and have bent me to their will. I am being used for evil ends. They are inside my head. I cannot stand it. I am not naturally an evil creature. I wish only to return to my home dimension, seek out this evil brotherhood and destroy the spells that control me, or else they shall force me to kill again, or else they shall force me to kill again. I cannot
deja
fight off
vu.
their powers much longer.
You getting deja vu?
Ah, yes, well, how do I break this spell?
You must uncover the secret brotherhood. Each of them must own a golden artifact. 6 artifacts used to summon me here. Bring the golden trinkets to me, and I can sever the brotherhood's control over my mind.
Yes, but where do I find this brotherhood? You said that it was secret.
It's a secret to everyone.
Seek out the one who stole the Book of Dragon Summoning from the Unseen University Library. He shall lead you to the others.
Well, I suppose I'd better get out and get on with the job then.
Oh, by the way, they really are building me up for a major rampage. If you fail to stop them, you will probably end up gritting down someone's path next winter.
No pressure.
Right. Gotcha.
And with that, we are done with Act 1 of Discworld. And next time, I think it's a little bit of a movie here, but after that, we will go ahead and stop and continue again at Act 2. Oh, no, we're actually starting back up on the city map. So I will go ahead and save it here. And we will begin scouring the city for the Secret Brotherhood next time. I'll see you then.